Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to JA Memories. My name is John McLauchlan, and you are watching Tech Talk. Today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And my countdown clock is not going off. Why is that not there? My network decided to go down on that computer. So, we go old fashioned. There we go. For some reason, my computer decided to crash. You ever have something go up so bad that just all of a sudden just crashes? Everything crashes on it. And the weird part is the computer still has network, but H2R graphics just crashed. I've never had that happen before, so I can't explain to you what is going on with that. But it is what it is. We've seen it happen all the time, and there's just something that goes on, and you test everything, and you assume it's all working, and then all of a sudden it does not. Well, that's just the nature of the game. So leave your comments in the chat. I will see if I can get these back up and running. And music's too loud. Thank you, Jeff. I'll go with that now. Okay. Let me see. I should be able to see chat still. Yeah, something went wrong. So let me network change. Check your network configuration. You know, I'm just gonna shut H2R graphics down and see if we can make this work again later. But anyway, just keep going. We're just gonna keep going and see if we can make this work. If not, we just won't have it live on chat. We've got a lot to go over tonight. It is Valentine's Day. I can still see the chat, so leave your comments in the chat. I just won't be able to pull them up until I figure out what's going on with H2R graphics. So if you see me look off, that's what's going on, but I still can read the chat. So don't worry about that. Other than that, this is another good reason to donate so John can upgrade the studio. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, I don't know, and here's the thing. I've had everything on since about 5:30 this evening. So I can't explain why all of a sudden everything crashed, and then I don't know if it was because of the countdown clock or what, but I am getting it back up and running and seeing if it will work. Because obviously without the chat, I can't have all of my awesome overlays that I love to put up here. So, it's Windows. Well, you know, I'd love to say it is, but the developer of the app actually made it for Mac and Windows. So I can't really say it's just Windows. Because I use Mac, I use Windows, and okay. There's a reason I did that, and I'll tell you in just a second. So apparently, I need to turn off hand gestures. We are actually going to go live from our OBSBOT tail air. So let me see this. And it could be that the computer needs to be restarted. But I'm not going to restart it 5 seconds after I just went there. Let's see if this works. Yep, it does. But I've got my bug over my thing. So it's Windows. That's why. Yeah, Jeff, like I'd have no problems with a Mac. I don't think so. As much as you would like me to believe that it's just Windows problems, I run a studio at the office and we have Macs and we still run into problems. And don't say it's user error. Because I've done this now for an hour and nothing crashed. And maybe that is the problem. So it would be easy, user error. Maybe I'm testing too much. I don't know. But it is what it is. Let's do that. It's just your lack of knowledge with Mac. Jeff, you're so tempting. You're so tempting to just have it out today, aren't you? Macs would be nice, but with all the cost of Macs and things like that, it's nuts. Hold on. I've got to figure out why my lower thirds are on top of each other. Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. I'm moving my. Now everybody can read it. My problem is now. If I just put it on top. There we go. We'll do it up top. What did you say? It's not holding the wheel? Maybe it's just duct tape holding the wheel. It's not to be more stable. Though I do have to admit something. About half an hour before the stream, I was messing around with a bunch of stuff. So it very well could be that I just was not paying attention to what I was doing, and I messed up some of the settings, and connectors, because the H2R graphics, and I have to give props to the developer of H2R graphics, because John Barker and his entire team have built an awesome tool here. So I cannot fault them at all. And if it's anyone's fault, it would be mine. It would be my fault. So I don't think I'm giving John Barker and his team any grief on the lack of development. All right. Let's close that. Let's lock that. All right. Now, remember, if you want to pop up your location, it will show up on the map. Obviously, I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's the ping. So feel free to leave a comment in the chat with your location, and it will pop up in the location. Now, I know everybody that's watching right now is in the United States, so that is why we're focused on that, but we can go from there. So feel free to do that. Also, we have got a lot going on as far as the comments are going, so feel free to leave a comment, just like Jeff is. The tape is losing its stick. That could be, very well could be that. Of course, it is your fault, John. Well, hopefully it is, because there's no one else in the studio. No one else. So if it's not my fault, then I don't know what it would be. So, all right. All right, let's go into what we're talking about. We've been talking about the OBSBOT tail air, and this is one reason why I wanted to make sure my graphics were working, because we still have the active OBSBOT discount code going on. So in the links below in the description, you have a link to the OBSBOT website. The new one is the OBSBOT Tail Air, which we will be showing on air today. And it is, if you want to pick one up, it's $500, $499, and you can get your own. These things are awesome. I will have my full review coming up in a few weeks. I'm still working out a few bugs. Right now, the OBSBOT team is on vacation due to the Chinese New Year. So I really have not been able to get a hold of them much. But I'm looking forward to getting in touch with them on some of the bugs that I found and try to get the answers to some of the questions I have. Now, with that being said, I want to show you all what the OBSBOT looks like. And so last week we brought the OBSBOT on through wired NDI. And it did work for the most part, but there was some glitchiness going on, latency. Today we have wired it up through our 810 Mini Extreme ISO, which reminds me, I need to, this is really bad. I'm not really good. I need to set up a start button that sets it up to record, because I tend to forget to record my ISOs. And the reason it's important to record the ISO is because it records all the inputs, which is crucial, because I want to get a sync of everything that is going on, graphic-wise, lower thirds, and all that above. So, with that being said, let's show you all what the OBSBOT tail air looks like on air through HDMI straight into the 810 Mini Extreme ISO. And here we go. That was weird because it sounded like something just squeaked. Right as soon as I hit that button. It's really freaky when you hit a button and all of a sudden something squeaks or you hear some noise or something behind you. And so what just happened, why it's moving around now, is because I literally just turned on the tracking. So I just literally turned on gestures. I'm going to turn off the hand gesture, so it won't track me, because obviously I don't want it to track. So let me see if I can get that to go down a little bit. That looks a little bit better. So this is the OBSBOT tail air. Tell me what you think about the image comparatively. So we are going to show you all let me do this. I wanna let's see. No, you got me set. Can't do that. I set up like I said, I was messing with the settings. Didn't get it set up back up right. But let me see if I can get, while we're talking, some side by side comparison. So yeah, so we'll do that there. And then we'll do number 2 would be, oh, playback. I would if you spell it right, Brian. Jeff. It's OBSBOT. OBSBOT. So that actually is in the wrong spot. Let me actually, you know what? Let me do this. There you go. And then I will put the Sony camera on line. So now I'm looking, I've got both on. There you go. Message retracted. Oh, did you just retract the message that said you were misspelled the word? It's not like the word's not on the screen. But hey, we're all allowed to misspell. Yeah, color is different. Yeah, I do have a lot more color depth on the OBSBOT Tail Air than I do on the Sony ZV-1F. So a side-by-side comparison, I'll look right in the middle, so it looks like I'm looking. It looks like I'm not looking at either one of them. But the OBSBOT right here, the one in the corner, that one's got a lot more color depth. It actually has built into the OBSBOT HDR, so high dynamic range on the color spectrum. The Sony ZV-1F does not. So this camera, the one that I'm looking at right now, that one's got a little bit less color depth. I could go in and tweak on the colors, but it's just one of those things that it's not. So yeah, there is definitely a color difference. So let me see what it says. Yeah, can already tell the difference in color. Yeah. So yeah, there is definitely a color difference in the different in the spectrums. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me do this. So right now we're looking at the the Sony ZV-1F. Right now we're at the OBSBOT Tail Air. Sony ZV-1F. OBSBOT Tail Air. So in the comments, let me know what you are think. What would you say? That's what I was looking at when I typed it, and still got it wrong. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's OBSBOT is not your typical word. I don't even know which camera I'm on now. But so it's just one of those things. OB looks darker, but might be clearer. Yeah, so the difference between the Sony ZV-1F and the Sony ZV-1F and the OBSBOT is the Sony ZV-1F is using a kit lens, so it's 1080. The OBSBOT is a 4K sensor with a high dynamic range, so you're getting a lot better imagery out of the camera. Now, mind you, the OBSBOT was designed originally as a web camera. So when the first OBSBOT came out, it was designed to replace your web camera. So that was one of those things. I don't know why I clicked on that. So you are looking. So you're looking at a difference in color. Now I can go into the settings if you think it's too dark, and adjust. So this is set at auto iris. So it's doing its job of saying, "Hey, this is what I think it should look like." So whether it's a good thing or not, that's what the camera says it wants to be at. So I don't know if you think that's a good shot or not, but it is what it is. Um, I actually like it this way, and I'm looking forward to the day when I can put 3 of these in, 2 for my main desk and 1 for the engineering desk, which we will be talking about here in just a minute. So, and that's the thing is, the OBSBOT tail air, which we're on right now, it does have a lot more color definition. Now, let me do this. I'm going to step up, and I want to. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go turn this light on and see if we get any more color depth. That is my hair light to get a little bit more depth away from the camera. So I do like the brighter look of the primary though. Okay. Yeah. So we just need to see about getting maybe a little bit more light in the studio. It's not bad. I think with the warm tones of shirt and the purple light behind, it adds red to your face a bit much, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it definitely has a little bit more color spectrum, and some of that you can adjust based on the settings of the shot. So let me see if I can get in there. Style. So I just adjusted the brightness based on what I see, but that still has a lot more saturation. So yeah, we'll go with that and see what you think of that. To me, that looks a little washed out, and that's just what I think. I mean, yeah. Let's go back and forth on that and see what that does. See if that's any better. Let's go back and forth. Actually, and believe it or not, I actually like what I just did better on the OBSBOT. It does make it look a little bit. I guess maybe the auto iris did look a little dark, and that's what. And that could be because I was going with the auto settings for outdoor. So it's brighter, but yes, washed out. So do I still look washed out? I lowered the I lowered it a little bit. So going back and forth. Hold on, let me go back and see what it looks like now. There are the 2 pictures. That is a good point, Jeff. Wonder if the video behind hinders the audio. So it wouldn't be the video, not necessarily. It would be the lights around you. And that's why in video, you always are adjusting your image based on the face. I don't have scopes in this studio. I do have an option to buy one. I just have to figure out how to get the image processed through so that I can actually put it on there. And if I do get scopes, then I could adjust my levels and do the image correctly the best way possible. But so it wouldn't be the video because the video is already dark enough. It would be more of the background wall right here. It could be adjusting and stuff like that. So, bring brightness down a tad. Let's see if I could adjust brightness. So what I'm doing right now is adjusting everything based on the app. So I've got the OBSBOT Start app on my phone, and I'm looking at it right there, and that's what's controlling the OBSBOT tail air, so I can adjust as it goes on. So, what does it say? And depending on who the talent is you want to look clear or not. So, well, I'm not sure that would be the correct terminology, because you ask any talent, I think they would want to be seen clearly. But yes, and in all fairness, I get the joke, Jeff. So don't think I missed the joke. But in all honesty, it does. The talent does affect a darker skinned person needs more light on them than a fair skinned person, whether that be a Latino, African American, a Chinese, a Filipino, whatever it is. A darker skinned person would need more light to be able to bring out the features of their skin. Another feature that drives a lot of lighting guys crazy is a person who has deep eye sockets, because at that point you have to remember to a highlight will oftentimes, for someone who has deep sockets, will often be casting shadows on their face, and their eyes will be dark regardless of what's going on. So you often have to lower the radius, the degrees of light, because of that feature. So there is talent does dictate some of the lighting that would make it possible to. And one of the most challenging is when you have two people on the channel, and they're different complexions completely, and it makes it quite entertaining for the lighting guy, say the least. And I can say that because I am a lighting guy, to challenge to get that going. So let me see what you all think of that. I'll go back full screen on the OBSBOT. Does that look better as far as I darkened the brightness on the overall exposure? So let's see. What did you say? And depending on, no, that's the one you just read. The joke for others from us town. Can we have more talent in the monitors, please? Yeah, well, that's left up to them, right? So, and that's the thing about the funny part about regardless of your position in broadcast, regardless of whether you're shading cameras, you're running camera, there's always someone who has a critical mindset. And as a engineer, I know from a personal standpoint that sometimes talent gets stressed out and they say things in the heat of the moment. And as a engineer, it's easy to take personal offense to that, but you can't let that offend you unless you know you did something wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't think that if you do something wrong and you get yelled at for it, you don't deserve to get yelled at. Um, but in the heat of the moment, when something goes wrong, that's why when something around here goes wrong, I'm quick to just blow it off, roll with the punches, and I might go back and try to figure out why it crashed or why something didn't work. But at the same time, that's just the nature of the game. We do everything we can to mitigate that and make it as minor as possible. But at the end of the day, um, broadcast is broadcast, live is live, and whatever happens happens. And then if you have the opportunity afterwards to go and fix it, then fix it, whether it be for the replay or just for the archives, because when you're live, you have to go live, and you just have to run with the punches. And I've been working in live broadcasts for, gosh, almost 20 years. Actually, 20 plus years. I did it in high school too. So, in the moment, people say things and people do things. And, and like I said, if it's because you did something wrong, then that's on you. But a lot of times, and I get the same way when I'm in the middle of production and something goes wrong, and I've got people in my ear going, "Hey, I need this, I need that." It gets stressful, but you have to let it go. You have to remind yourself that you're in a high stress environment, and that's just the nature of the game. So, okay, so reminder: if you're watching, leave a comment in the chat, and we'll get to those comments. Uh, yeah, I mean that depends on the talent too. Sometimes the talent does understand because they've been behind the camera. Other times they don't. So and that's just the nature of the game. As an engineer, whether you're doing audio, video, lighting, whatever it is, your job is not to question the talent. Their job is to get the show on the road. Everybody plays their role. So the job is the job, right on. So yeah, the job is the job, and regardless of your position, regardless of who's and what position you're doing, you do your job the best that you can, and do the best you can without making any mistakes. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, and that's one reason why I love live, because at the end of the day, once you're done, you're done. A lot of times when you do stuff in post, you're not as focused, and you make a lot more mistakes, which means that you have on the back end you have to fix those mistakes, and then so there's a caveat to both sides of the spectrum on that as far as that goes. So again, if you want the OBSBOT Tail Air, click on the link below. You do have, I mean, I literally just changed the settings on the OBSBOT Tail Air live on the air. So, you have those flexibilities. It's not as convenient as, say, some of the other broadcast cameras that I'm used to, where I have a shading controller right in front of me. But having the stuff at my fingertips, and you can run the OBSBOT software on your cell phone, on the desktop, whether Mac or PC. So you're not limited to just your phone. So you can adjust all the same settings on there. You also, let me see if I can do this. I'll do a slight move for you. You can do slight moves. Or you can do major moves too. I won't kill myself off the shot, but I can do stuff like this. And the nice thing is you can set presets in here, and so I could set a preset. Let's do this as a preset 1, and another one over here if I can get it to move. I'll do that, and then I just hit one button and it moves, and it moves, and I just bounce back and forth between the shots. Or like I said, I can move it manually. So this does have a little bit wider angle. Now, mind you, the camera is just out of arm's length on this one. My Sony ZV-1 is in arm's length. So I do have that. So did it lose focus on me? Looks like my camera lost focus. Let's see. There we go. Yep, back in focus. Your hand messed up the focus. Quit touching the camera. Stop moving in frame of the camera. Yeah, that's what it was. Most of us are perfectionists, so we know what we're gone wrong and are already beating ourselves up for it. That is true, but one thing to keep in mind with that is, and this is what I was telling everybody from the very beginning of Tech Talk. One of the reasons I do this show, and I do it consistently, is because I want to make sure that if something goes wrong here, there's a minimum audience. There's not as much. I don't want to say that there's not much bad things going on, but it also comes down to, hey, you're there. There isn't. How can I say it without sounding really bad? There's less of an impact if I mess up here than if if I mess up on Richard's show. A lot more people are going to be watching. Now, I pray that someone gets on here and then we just go viral. But and until then, I'm not saying I want to mess up, not that I want my equipment to go bad, but I just know that, there's less of an impact. So one reason I go live all the time is because I want to make sure that I know technology. I have learned so much by seeing and doing this show and my biblical show, because I learn technology, I learn I've found more software than ever before that I would never have found because of these shows that I'm doing. I've followed streamers that normally would not, I would never have found. So I'm excited about that. And it's gotten better too. I have gotten better in that, in what I do. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Live streaming is live streaming. Crap happens live. Almost everyone on YouTube has had problems live. Yeah, and here's the thing. I remember watching one of the live streamers. He had 2,000 subscribers. I think he was live with about 500 viewers. And he came on live and he had no audio. What happened was he did all his checks just like I do, went live, pumped out there, checked to make sure that the video and the audio was working, and then all of a sudden he had to use the bathroom. So he had 15 minutes on the clock before he went live. So what did he do? He went out and went to the bathroom, but he first turned off his mic at the lapel. So when he comes back online, he opens the show, does his whole monologue, and we're all in the chat going, can't hear you, no audio. And because he's pumping out 4K, his delay is like a minute to a minute and a half delay before he sees the response. So he's got a whole litany of people going, he can't hear them. And he goes through his whole entire monologue at the beginning of the show as he's focused on the monologue. I don't know if he's reading a teleprompter or not, but he's doing that. And then he looks over at his chat and goes, "Oh, you all can't hear me." Reaches over, clicks on his mic, and he has to do his whole monologue again. And that's just live. That's just the nature of the beast. And, and things like that happen. Uh, many people have audio problems with live streams. Yeah, they do. And that's the thing about it is you just have to roll with the punches. So, and unfortunately for me, I'm not listening to the live stream. So I don't know if and most streamers don't. So we don't know if something is wrong. Because obviously we can't have speakers in the room because then you'll all hear feedback. And then also, I look really goofy with big earphones on my head. Well, not that I don't look goofy normally, but that's just beside the point. All right. Seen that happen many times. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we do our best to make sure everything's working, but it's like I said, it's just the nature of the beast. So, all right, before we get too far off base, I do need to talk to you guys about what's coming up next. So, obviously, I've got the OBSBOT tail air for a couple more weeks. We are gearing up for an install. I will share. I've got 2 installs actually for the OBSBOT tail air. So I will share pictures and updates as I do them, as long as the pastors give me permission to. And then if I can get some footage of that, I will show you what we did and the final outcome of that. But this OBSBOT tail air is going into a church in Claremore, which I need to give them a big shout out. The church in Claremore, Glory Church, and Pastor Brian Long and his congregation. Thank you so much for letting me borrow your camera and also for trusting me and Jerry Memories to do your install. But, because this is their camera. So I am testing it out, making sure that I know everything that, and make sure it works with the systems that we're putting into their church. So what's coming up next is, so my studio I've been in this space now probably a year, maybe a little bit less than a year, and it's served me well. I've been able to do my shows here, I've been able to work here and do everything that I need to do, but with me wanting to do more hands-on and also get a little bit more cable management done, or in the case of this, a lot more cable management done. No, it's not that I almost would be. I am embarrassed of how bad the cable management has been over the course of my tenure here in this space. So, with that being said, we are going to be doing a complete remodel of this space. I'm going to be flipping the desk around, taking my production equipment and flipping it all around, adding some rack space and storage for equipment. I was doing so one thing that I learned a long time ago is that I need to make sure that I write stuff down. So over the last couple of days, I have been writing down my desires for my studio space. There are 3 things that I feel that we have to commit before we even start ripping out or doing any new stuff. There are 3 components that you need to consider when you're going into whether it's a new space or an old space that you're converting. Is 1, the functionality of that space, what your overall goal is, and And for this, my goal is to be able to jump real quickly from the sitting position that I'm in now to a standing position for a tech review. Because I'd love to do tech reviews live on the air and just show you guys products that I think are cool and stuff like that. And right now, I can't do that. I actually have no desk space in front of me to do a actual good job of showing you what I want you guys to see. So I would have to literally go to a full screen and then go and take a different camera, and I'd have to walk all the way around there, go around to that side of the desk, and then have a camera up there. The only problem is then you're looking back at this whole mess, and if I put walls up to divide it, it kind of makes the room even smaller. So functionality-wise, this layout is not working. So I'm going to be redoing it. Second thing is what you're sharing your space with. Obviously, I've told you guys in the past, I am in the garage. That is where my studio is. So I am always considering what that space means. The garage also includes the deep freezer and the a small other refrigerator for extra refrigeration space. We've also got the washer and dryer. So I always have to consider that as a project of the fact that, one, I can't do laundry when I'm doing my live streams, and also I have to make sure that I have space to maintain. I can't just take over the entire garage because we need a space to do our laundry. So that is, you'll have to consider the space that you're in and be mindful of what that is all about. And of course, you want to make sure that you consider, and sometimes it's hard to see totally where this is going to go, but you have to have in mind the end result. Because if you don't have an end result and what you're ultimately going for, you'll never get there. Now, that doesn't mean that when you have an end result when you first start, that you're not going to change that. And that's one thing that I've learned watching plenty of live streams or watching plenty of these tech upgrades, is that fact that, when you have a plan, you have a lot more guidance on what you're doing. But at the end of the day, when you get into the project and you start developing your plan and putting your plan into action, that end result may look a little bit different when it's all said and done. And that's simply because of the fact that situations arise. You overlook certain things, or if you dig into a wall and you find something that you cannot help, you have to change the end result. And that doesn't mean that you throw everything out, the plan is completely dead. You just have to be flexible enough to adapt that app. So, okay, now, with that in mind, we've got 3 different spaces that we need to consider. I already said the laundry is one. My wife will be very upset if I take away the laundry. And I have no other place in the house to put it, so I can't move that. So that's staying. Second is I obviously need a space for streaming and doing tech review videos. So, and I want that to be kind of one space that I can do. Well, it's one space, but it's 2 different locations in that space. One designed for the everyday live stream. Second, for the reviews, where I can have a camera top down. I can have all of this other stuff. Also, we have storage and equipment. It's important that we have an organized an organized equipment rack, but yet it's available so that if I need something or if I want something, I can just grab it without having to go outside. Or if I need another wire, or if I need a cable, um, I want to have some equipment on hand and ready to go. So those three spaces all have to fit within this one garage. So obviously, how that looks and what's involved in there. Now, I do have some extra things in here that I don't need. Um, so we will be getting rid of a couple things in here. But at the, excuse me, at the end of the day, it's all going to be fit into this one space. So, yeah, so I have the basic understanding of what I want, and I don't have it today, but I'm starting to work on the wiring diagram, the layout of the streams. I am considering, so because of the way the room is laid out, the one desk over here flipped around will be wired up directly to the A10 Mini Extreme. The second desk, which I hope to do 3 cameras on, one shooting me, one shooting my hand, and one shooting above for the actual video. Obviously, one, I don't have enough inputs on the A10 Extreme for that. So what I'm considering is putting a second ATEM in line. Now, I do have the ATEM Television Studio HD. That is an SDI switcher. It does have 4 HDMIs in, but doesn't have an HDMI out. So I'd have to convert the output to HDMI to get back to the ATEM Mini Extreme. That is input 1. The second option is go and take my ATEM Mini Pro that I have, plug the 4 cameras into that, run that output back to the ATEM Mini Extreme. But that takes away from the encoding on Facebook. So the other option is I can then go with another encoder, and an encoder, ranges anywhere from $300 to and up. So depending on what encoder I get. So right now I'm leaning towards just using the Television Studio HD, and then later on down the road maybe going all. I would like, in honesty, go all SDI because it's a little bit more stable, a little bit more conducive, but at this moment, that's just not in the budget either. So we'll see what that happens. Let's see what's going on in chat. How about Shed Studio? My wife and I have actually discussed that, and I actually have plans drawn up for that. The problem is with the pandemic and with the cost of lumber and building materials, the price of most bare sheds have tripled. And then to insulate it and sheetrock it the right way, that just compounded the cost to its, you're talking, when it's all said and done, around 10 grand. So that's just not in the budget right now. So, yes, I have considered it. I do know I want a studio on-prem. I don't want to go rent a space down the road or across town and then have to be driving late at night back and forth between the studio and home. Because it's very convenient when I'm working on stuff for the studio and my wife needs me. She can just come downstairs or yell from up in the house, "Hey, I need you to come up and do something." That's what that is. So, yeah. So, and then, what does this say? What does it say? and there's not much laundry with kids. LOL. That's a joke, right? I hope. I hope. Yeah, that's a joke. I know it's a joke. I'm just messing with you, Jeff. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Ruth Ann the other day was just 3 or 4 times just changed her clothes, just uh, without any word or anything. She was wearing one outfit, and by a couple hours later, she's wearing another outfit, and then late at night, she's wearing another, and it wasn't her pajamas. I'm like, now you're gonna get in your pajamas too. So 4 outfits in one day, and now that was all on her. That was all on her. Seriously, Jeff, I said it was a joke. Yes, I know it was a joke. We're just having fun. So, with all that being said, I do want to forewarn you that I am going to be start ripping out some stuff this week. So we will be live each week for both biblical reflections and tech talk, but it just may not look the same way. Because I do have the OBSBOT tail air, I may actually go live from the OBSBOT tail air. That is on my agenda to go live from the OBSBOT tail air. I finally figured out how to go live from the OBSBOT tail air, believe it or not. So I will. That might be just a whole setup. So if that's the case, there will be no graphics. It'll just be a bone dry show, straight out of the can with the camera, or straight out of the camera, side of the can. But you get what I'm saying. So that is coming. Another week, I may just go live from my phone. I can't do that on YouTube, but I can do that on Facebook because YouTube, you have to have so many. You have to have so many viewers and so many viewed hours as well. So once we get there, then I can start streaming from my phone. But at the end of the day, I can't do both if that's the case. I'll do my best to try to at least rig up the 2 to 1 camera and just talk and give you guys an update. I'll take before and after pictures, and then we can critique it as we go. I do have some of my cable management stuff in house. I do need to buy some more, and that will be on order here soon. But I don't want to break the bank by buying everything right now. I've got to spread it out as I'm doing some other jobs so that I don't kill the bank. Yeah, so I mean, no matter which way you look at it, I've got to spend some money. I'm not upgrading any of the monitors. All my monitors are staying the same. I do have a layout set up for the new set, and it's in my mind. Hopefully by next week it's on paper and the wiring diagram is figured out. The one thing that I did count up this week is how many power outlets I am utilizing. And if I can find where that is, I wrote it down. And it just blew my mind when I wrote that down. It was some ungodly amount of power outlets. Actually, you know what? Any idea how many outlets do you think I have in my house? Hey, look at that. I've got the no, that's what. Oh, so this one right here, this diagram here, which I don't know if you can see, but that was actually what I did when I did this layout here. It actually worked out well. I followed it and got it going good. Companion Stream Deck commands. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So let me see. Yeah, what did you say? House never has enough outlets for AV stuff. No, but I've got extension cords and I've got power strips. I do need to get myself a better power conditioner. The power conditioner I have is good up to, I want to say, uh, 5, 20 amp. It's a 20 amp conditioner, but I don't think it has enough rating for all my equipment. So I do need to get a little bit better then. And if I want my stuff battery backed up, I gotta get a industry standard battery backup with a lot more battery than I have now because it just is not available. So last chance. Any ideas how many outlets I'm using? How many power plugs I'm using? I just saw it. Any guesses? Any guesses? Just give me a number. Just give me a number. Oh, I hit the same question. Enter. I never had any complaints with my Surgex. Not cheap at all, but worth saving equipment. Okay, that's cheating, Jeff. That's cheating. 20 plus. Yeah, 20 plus is you're right, 20 plus, but any an exact number? Give me an exact number, Jeff. Just throw a number out there, an exact number, and see if you're close. You're right. It is well over 20. Just see if you can give me an exact number. And you should know because you have a lot of equipment. I'll just give you one more second to give me an answer. All right. Jeff said 42. One off. I counted. Now you might be right because I might have missed one, but I counted 41 outlets the other day when I was writing up my. I should know I've been in the studio. Yes, you have. I'm not sure if it was in this configuration or if it was in a different one, but one of the things that I've got to do better at cable managing all the outlets, and the thing is, I've got to get some good power strips because a lot of my outlets are wall warts. So a standard power strip, you use 3, and that's it because of the fact that all the wall warts just take up all the space. So I've got to get production quality power strips so that I can do that, and then I've got to do it where position them in such a way that I can power everything, but then keep everything organized. One thing that I'm going to be looking at is labeling all my outlets so that I know, okay, this outlet is to hard drive 1, this one's to hard drive 5. This is the laptop, this is the computer, this is the audio equipment, so on and so forth, so that when I'm looking at my power strips, trying to figure out what's not working and what I need to unplug, that works. And I have to say, I am very pleased with this. I have never had anything overheat. Some of the USB stuff does get a little warm, but I've never had anything get too overloaded. Yeah. So I see a label maker in your future. I actually have one. I just have to go get the tape for it. I got a label maker probably 15, 20 years ago that I've had, and I just need to go find the tape for it. Last time I looked, it was at Staples, so hopefully they still make it. Not old, but it was a P-Touch, I think. So I've already got the label maker. I just need to make the labels and label everything up. But hopefully, with all of that, everything will be top notch, good quality, and I'll be actually quite pleased. Another thing that I want to do is I want to make space on my desk to have my cameras in position. So I'm not having, right now, my cameras are on boom arms, and I'm booming them up and out of the way. Kind of like cable management. You have to do it. Yeah, and that's, I think I said that like 150 times today so far. So yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things you have to do. But I was, but I don't want to just do it like a lot of people do, just hide the cables. I want to do it in such a way that I can find things on both ends and also make it so that, some of the cables that are pre built don't always work because you have either too short or you have too long and you're bunching them up. So what I'm looking at doing is getting some cables that are the exact length I need. Now, on most equipment that come with predetermined power cables or a big one, they're just a set length. So you either have to go and buy a custom cable or modify the cable so that it's shorter. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's one of those things you have to be mindful of. There will be some just boxes hanging down below that house a bunch of different cables, and that's just the nature of the beast. And it will be just hiding the cable. Power is one of those things that is a beast when it comes to cables, especially when you're using 41 outlets. Um, so, yeah. What did you say? Huh? Custom cables equals time and money. Yes, but you save money if you do it yourself. You still take the time, but if you do save your money if you do it yourself. And I've been working in the industry long enough that I could build most cables. I've even done, I've even soldered USB cables. So they're not the easiest thing in the world to do, and they do take a lot of time, but it is possible. I'd probably say 90% cables could be soldered. Obviously, when you get into the fiber stuff, that I'm not touching. I don't want to deal with fiber, repairing fiber. I will use fiber every day of my life. I love fiber cables because they run a lot longer and a lot stabler. But if they break, they break, and I'm not one to fix it. There are plenty of people out there that will tackle that challenge. Me, nope, I'm not. I'm not going that route. Power management is the biggest thing. Believe it or not, Jeff, no, it's not. Because obviously everything is running in my space, and I'm not killing any outlets. I actually have running where I'm at. I actually ran my own power, so I know this is rated for 20 amps. So I am not using more than 20 amps, and I don't have any problems with that. The as far as so the power is stable, it's just a matter of cleaning up all the power cables, and it may just be that I've got to get just have to get some power boxes around there. To be safe, power is a big thing. Yes, to be safe, you do have to be careful when you're dealing with power, but at the same time, if you know what you're doing and make sure you turn the breaker off before you start messing with power, then yes, you can be safe. I actually thought about putting in a industrial size power conditioner in the wall, but there, right there is not going to be cheap to do that. Fiber cable ain't cheap. I would agree with you, but I'm finding that it's not as expensive as I thought it would be. Especially when you're dealing with the thing about it is once you get over a threshold, the fiber cable doesn't really matter. Example would be perfect example would be I just purchased over the last 2 weeks HDMI fiber cables. We're running 200. I'm running 175 and 200 feet cable in two different locations, and the difference in price between the 75 and the 200 is only like $35. And the reason being is because the cost is within the fiber cable itself. No, I take that back. The cost is in the end of the fiber cable. So whether it be HDMI, Ethernet, whatever your SMPTE fiber, so your biggest cost is on the ends that they have to put on there. The fiber itself is fairly cheap. So you're paying a little bit more for the longer lengths, but not as much as you would think. So depending on what kind of SMPTE fiber, whether you're doing SMPTE fiber for broadcast cables, bare fiber for network conditioning, unterminated, terminated, it all comes down to, and this is the way it is with a lot of cable. The cable itself, bare cable, is actually quite cheap. It's when you get into the ends and you're terminating it, that's where the cost is. So, many people likely think you're using a ton of splitters, which is bad. What do you mean by splitters? You talking about power splitters, or are you talking video splitters? What splitters are you talking about? Splitters can be used in a lot of different things. So before I even comment on that, tell me what you're talking about. Give me a second to answer that. Oh. Someone's texting on my phone. What do you mean by splitters, Jeff? Power. You talking about power strips? Or are you talking three conditioners? I have a lot of power strips, but they're all home run. So, yeah, you don't want to daisy chain your power strips. That's a bad thing to do. But you want to make sure that you're doing home runs to all of your power strip. You're not supposed to even plug a power strip into an extension cord unless it's the right rating for it. But at some point you are going to have to. Conditioners are hazardous. Conditioners are a good thing, but daisy chain power stuff is a hazard. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to avoid is daisy chaining a bunch of. So my ultimate goal is to get a lot of outlets home run, and then on the conditioner split out with the right and it may be that I have a whole wall of just power because 41 outlets, that's a lot of outlets that I have to get plugged in. And I'm pleased that everything that's running doesn't blow a 20 amp condition and that 20 amp. I have to double check this is 20 amp or even 15 amp. I include the breaker box, but but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's not killing what is there. So, because if it did, I'd be dead right now. I wouldn't. Not me personally dead, but the live feed would be dead if it blew. My live streamers are on the same outlet, same line as everything else. So, all right, I think that wraps up today. Hope you all had a blessed Valentine's Day. Don't forget, if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and hit that hashtag replay. There's no button for that. You need to make a button for hashtag replay. I'll talk to Facebook about that. Give me a button for hashtag replay. No, type in the comments hashtag replay. Feel free to leave comments in the chat. I always look at the chat, and I also look at the comments. And yeah, I'm gonna go see what the wife is doing. We have our date night scheduled for Saturday, so don't think I gypped her out of anything. It just worked out because the fact that it's a weekend, it's a weekday today, that we just get some stuff there. So God bless you all. Have a blessed week. We will see you in some fashion next week. I hope to have some of this tore out. But I can't guarantee that because I do have these 2 jobs looming over me. So depending on when those jobs actually happen, also I've got life. So life does take precedence over my studio time, and obviously I don't want to rip it out to the point where I can't go live at all. So we'll go from there. So God bless you all, and you all have a great week. God bless.